Welcome to Dollars versus Deaths. In this video, we show you how to use this website so that you can get insights on correlation of a country's economic indicators and its health indicators. Let's start exploring. Here, we give you the definitions of various economic indicators such as the gross domestic product and mortality indicators such as the COVID death rates. First, in the global view, you get an idea on how countries and regions are doing across the world with respect to their mortality rates and economic indicators. You choose a mortality rate from this menu, and in this case, we have chosen adult mortality. You choose an economic indicator such as GDP or GNI, and then you take a look at the color code of each country to understand how well it is doing. For example, United States has a high GDP and a medium adult mortality rate, whereas China has a medium GDP and yet has a low adult mortality rate. You can switch the mortality indicator to COVID deaths and you can see that the chart changes colors. If you navigate to United States, you'll see that it now has a high mortality rate, whereas China continues to have a low mortality rate for COVID. In this chart, we will show you how various economic and mortality indicators are correlated and which are the countries that have the highest and lowest in each of these categories. These outliers, for example, for COVID deaths and GDP are clearly shown here. Sweden, United States, Italy are some of the more developed countries with high GDPs and yet have some of the highest COVID death rates. You can switch the mortality indicator to, let's say, infant mortality, and the view changes. Now you see many of the African countries that have low GDP also showing up with high infant mortality, which is sort of what you might expect. If you click on show me this country, you can choose a country like Argentina and it'll show up on the chart. Here you can see that Argentina lies somewhere in the middle of the pack with respect to GDP and mortality rate. Now let's say you want to understand how Argentina is faring against the United States across all indicators. This view will help you understand it. Here, each of the metrics is ranked on a scale of 0 to 1 so that you understand where each country falls with respect to that metric compared to the rest of the world. For example, United States has a GNI that's in the middle of the pack, and that might explain why its infant mortality is low, but it doesn't explain why the COVID deaths and COVID cases are somewhat higher than infant mortality. If you take a look at Argentina, you'll see that it has a lower GNI than the United States of America, but it seems to have given higher importance to hospital beds and physician density, and as a result seems to be doing better with respect to COVID deaths and COVID cases. If you want to compare indicators across time, this chart helps you do that. Here we have chosen United States and Singapore and displayed the adult mortality across time. You can see that in the United States, the adult mortality has been going up from 2014 to 2016. You can also take a look at something like physician density, and you'll immediately see that Singapore has invested a whole lot more than United States on adding more physicians, and that might be the reason why the adult mortality in Singapore is lower. In conclusion, we have shown how the economic and health indicators of a country seem to affect its mortality rate. You can use this website to derive more insights into the specific countries and the specific indicators of your choice. Thank you.